everybody. Welcome to the Lotus Podcast. Today is episode 1, and I'm Heather Weebner, here to bring you inspiration on this New Year's Day. So I hope you're all having a good day. Happy New Year, and hope everybody was able to celebrate last night, stay up to midnight, and usher in 2021. I'm sure we won't miss 2020 too much, but I do want to talk to you a little bit today about what New Year's means to most people. It's typically a time of reflection and projection. So let's talk first about the reflection part of 2020. Immediately when you hear 2020, you associate it with the whole corona pandemic. And that was a pretty dark time for a lot of people. There was disaster, depression, disappointment, sacrifice, unfortunately sickness and death. And that's unfortunate for so many people. But what I want to really focus on in 2020 is the good that came out of it. Oftentimes when we're pushed out of our comfort zone or forced to do something that we might not want to do, it brings about growth. And I do feel like there was a lot of growth in 2020. Sometimes you have to think really hard about what you experienced, and some of us were so busy just trying to get through those times that we didn't really stop and reflect about what was going on. It was a very scary time for all of us. You know, the last 10 months, we've been asked and forced to live a way of life that most of us have never known, with, you know, social distancing and the masks and sanitizing and cleaning and just withdrawing and staying in our homes. And that's been kind of hard. So backing it up to March last year, when the initial lockdown started, I think about how scary that was. You know, oh my goodness, we can't go to the grocery store, and we have to prepare and make sure we have everything we need and keep our kids in the house. And, you know, we can't be out with our neighbors. We can't go to social gatherings. We can't go out to eat, you know, the things that we normally would do. And at first it was kind of, you know, disappointing. How are we going to get through this? And then I realized that it was sort of like found family time. So, you know, my husband and our kids were here, you know, all together, and we spent time together doing things that we normally might not have done. We took a lot of walks, we rode bike together, we played board games and card games and things that they're kind of always there, but we're so busy all the time that we don't really stop to do that stuff. And it was a really neat bonding experience. So I'm taking that little nugget away. That was a good family time for us. Also, I had to prepare meals here at the house. I think I don't remember cooking that many meals consecutively in my adult life. So for, you know, 14 days we were locked in here. I made dinner every night, you know, breakfast every morning. We had sandwiches for lunch, whatever. But it was the process of figuring out what you need and make sure you stock up, because you only go out if it's really necessary. And that was a learning curve for all of us. And it was enjoyable to be home. And we were home. We had the time to prepare the food. And, you know, we ate really healthy and tried some new recipes and brought out some old recipes from years ago that, you know, take time to make. And on a busy weeknight, you just don't do it. So that was a really positive thing for us as well. The other thing we noticed, my husband and I bike almost every day. And usually it's at the end of our workday. We're tired. We do it because, well, we want to stay, you know, as healthy as we can. And we kind of hold each other accountable in that respect. So having time off gave us the opportunity to bike earlier in the day when we still felt energetic, you know, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Are you ready for your ride? Yeah, let's go. And it was good. And the thing we noticed on our bike rides during that period was the traffic was much less. The hum of the world was sort of quiet, and we were able to notice nature so much more. I'm a bird nerd. I love to watch the birds. And the birds, there was just so many of them. They were plentiful. And we saw species that we never saw before. So I don't know if they were feeling things too, came out of hiding. I'm not sure what really happened there, but or maybe it was just because we were being still and watching. But anyway, that was really cool too. The other really neat thing to watch was my husband is a school teacher. He's been teaching for 24 years. He's excellent at what he does. And I have never spent time in his classroom while he's teaching. So I got an opportunity to watch him teach from home, which was eye-opening for me to see. He's very passionate about his teaching, but to see it firsthand. And I remember when schools closed down, his concern was, how am I going to be effective through my computer to my students? How am I going to reach them? He teaches science. So think about science class. That's a very hands-on thing. Petri dishes, beakers, microscopes, gloves, goggles, the whole 9 yards when you're in the science lab. And his concern was, how am I going to do these things remotely with no supplies? The kids are all at home without supplies. How am I going to do this? But I watched him persevere, and he was pushed out of his comfort zone for sure, because back in March, remote school or remote learning or virtual learning was like, nobody did that. Now it's a common thing. But I watched him create a new way of teaching, and he was so inspiring through that, and I'm very proud of him for doing that, as well as many other teachers around the country, around the world, finding a new way to do that outside the box. That was also something really good that came from it. So as we moved through the summer, we watched our kids. You can see the fear kind of building in them. The world is kind of crazy. We don't go out to eat anymore. We can't go to the movies. Like, all the things that they knew were gone. No trips to the mall. If you needed something, you just got on Amazon and, it showed up at your door, which is less exciting than a trip to the mall for them. So we decided to focus on teaching them skills. So washing dishes, folding laundry, these are things that they could do before and they did haphazardly, but we really took the time and, went over things with them thoroughly and had them practice and do these things. My husband taught our son how to use some power tools, which, he was turning 12 in August, and that was a good time for him to start learning how to do some of that stuff. And we had the time to do it. So that was another really cool thing that came out of 2020. We slowed down and backed it up to basics, and it was a good feeling. Then came the fall, and my husband and I came down with COVID. We had a pretty rough go of it. We managed to stay out of the hospital, but it was pretty tough for a couple weeks, and that was another bonding experience for our family. And as sick as we were, it was also very heartwarming because we were trying to take care of each other, taking care of the kids. The kids were worried about us. We're trying to make everybody feel like everything was going to be okay. And we have a great support system of friends and family who did lots of porch drops for us with medicines and foods and whatever we needed, lots of Gatorade. And we came through that pretty good. And I'm very blessed. I feel blessed and very thankful that we survived that. And the election, okay, there's the unsettled election. I'm not going to get into politics. I'm not discussing politics on here. I'm just saying that as Americans, we all experienced the election, and that was also very troubling. But I'm going to look back over this someday and say, all of this happened for a reason. We don't know why, but there was reasons for it. So hopefully when you reflect on 2020, and I want you to take some time today over the weekend and think about what 2020 means to you. Yeah, there was a lot of dark spots, but I'm going to choose to pull out the light, and I want to remember those things. And as the sting of this pandemic lessens, as we move forward with vaccines, with knowledge on this, the sting of that vaccine, or the sting of the pandemic, is going to lessen. We're going to get back to some normality, and I hope that the light spots of 2020 are what you will remember and pull from this year. Okay, so now we've talked about the reflect part. Let's talk about the project. So as we're moving into 2021, think about what you want to see in 2021. Obviously, everybody wants good health. After this last year, that's something that's probably a priority for a lot of people. Finances, getting in shape, eating less junk. I don't know. I'm not sure where you're at, but those are usually typically things that people call New Year's resolutions. I don't use the term New Year's resolution because to me that's a daunting task. And my experience in the past, when I set a New Year's resolution for myself, within the first weeks, months, days sometimes, I lose my interest. And I feel like, oh, I bit off this big thing and I just can't do it, and I just give up. So I'm asking you, as you project into 2021, think about an improvement plan. We'll call it an improvement plan, an IP. How's that? So this is not taking on the world. This is not, I'm going to lose 50 pounds by March, because that would be really challenging. This is, I'm going to do better today than I did yesterday. And whatever that means to you, if that means drinking one less cup of coffee or eating one less chocolate bar or going for a longer walk than you did the day before, then so be it. So give yourself some grace. We have just come through a very trying and challenging year, and give yourself some grace as we move into 2021. That certainly doesn't mean you shouldn't set goals. I do want you to set goals. Set goals because we can always improve. Everybody on this planet has room for improvement. So something that might help you as you're working on an improvement plan is having an accountability partner. So choose someone that you trust and someone that's willing to help you out with this. And understand that, let's just say that exercising, you want to exercise more and get fit. That's your improvement plan. Well, this accountability partner does not have to actively exercise with you that hour a day. All they have to do is check in with you every 3 to 4 days and say, hey, how's that IP going? And it's going to hold you accountable. And you may fall off the wagon, forget to exercise, not feel like it one day, whatever. And that's okay. As long as you recognize that and you have someone holding you accountable, it makes it a little bit easier to jump back up on the horse and get going again. So as you're working towards 2021, those are the two things I want you to think about. Reflect on 2020, pull out the good stuff because it's there. You may not have thought about it, but there's good. So find it, find that light, reflect. And then I want you to project on 2021 and figure out that you can change your world, you can change your life for the better, but it doesn't have to be a monumental task. So bite something small, chew on it, and have an accountability partner to help you get through it. Alrighty, have a great, happy New Year day. Enjoy your festive meal, whatever it is that you choose to celebrate with today. And go be the light, love and be loved. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.